this film reflects a little bit of my philosophy in a way. I think one needs to know that before you can get ahead with anything you do, you should get your skills right. You should be good at what you do. You should be better than the next man, but that is your baseline. That's where you start. Now, to be able to excel, you need to be able to add a certain factor to what you do, and that's how people will listen and pay attention to what you do. They might not like the way you do it, but they will pay attention. And hopefully, over time, they will come around. So I like to add a little bit of abstraction to my work. I like to think conceptual way of thinking. I like to think of surrealistic approaches to everything I do. So, in effect, the film and the way we do this film reflects my attitude to everything that crosses my path. I'm a tailor, I'm a designer, and I like to dabble in films and so on and so forth. Before I go any further, I'd like to introduce myself properly. My name is Michael Tetenate, Michael T. Nate, T. Michael, as most of you know me. I was born in Accra, Ghana, some odd 49 years ago. Spent my teenage years in London and moved to Norway 25, 26 years ago after I met my ex-wife in London some years back. She's still a lovely person. Now, what we do is, I do suits and I do shirts and I do bags and I do raincoats as well. Now, the raincoats was something that we started with because we wanted to change the plot. Now, before I had this plot and I stuck to the plot and I had a little bit of that conceptual approaches and a little bit of quirky way of thinking and establish what I did before. But now with the raincoats, we had to go one step further and think, how can we take something so mundane, like rain? How can you take rain that's so boring and make it into something exciting? How can you take the fact that it rains in Bergen 2 or 3 days and make it exciting for people to think, oh, I want to go to Bergen because it rains 2 or 3 days? How can you do that? There's one simple way of doing it. First of all, you have to have your product, and we spent a lot of time on it, trust me. We spent years on it, 2-3 years maybe, and we tested it in every single way to get not only the look right, but to make sure it was 100% waterproof. Now, when we got that set out, we decided to go to Milan, and we're lucky enough to be invited over by Vogue to show at a place called the White Show in Milan, and it's basically the show for cutting-edge designers, a little bit avant-garde, the black drapes, black coat, black trousers that you see draped around everywhere. They usually show at these trade shows. So there we are, the first time we've been invited to a trade show together to show our collection. Now, the collection was quite small. We had 2 styles and 1 mini style. We had a single-breasted, double-breasted, and the mini style was the rain show. Now, the rain show, anyway, so we get to Milan, and we are given this space down in the basement. Now, the basement is for the cool brands, so to speak. So you walk in, and you see all the brands out there, and you're thinking, damn, I'll be next to these people. But we didn't have a plan. We just thought it was cool to go to Milan. We didn't have a plan of action at all. So we walk in, we got into our basement, and it's like 2 adjoining rooms. You walk in, it's like a U shape in a way. You walk in like that. There's a door, and then there's a main room. Now we had basically 2 single-breasted, 2 double-breasted, and 1 rain show. So we thought the rooms were way too big to use the 2 rooms to show the collection. So we had to think a little bit out of the box, get a little bit surreal. And we thought, okay, let's test this theory of mine. Let's go really abstract and conceptual the way we present this clothing. So we went out, did a few shopping with the little money that we had. We bought some jute ropes. We went to the store, the grocery store. We found the sunflower. We thought, oh, that's cool. Okay, we bought that. And we found a few sort of pieces of a mannequin laying around. We had a hand, the leg, that kind of thing. So basically what we did is we had a sunflower sitting in the middle of the room. As soon as you walk in, you meet the sunflower on the floor. We had the hands lying around, and we basically did this rope thing network in the room where we tied the ropes around. and went through the first room and then back to the back room. And we had this huge banner that said Norwegian Rain, and it said, we're from the rainiest city in Europe. Now, so when you walk past the door, now, let me just say, fashion buyers are the most arrogant and the most unpleasant people in the world. I know why they are, because for 2 weeks in a whole year, they need to make money for the whole year. So for 2 weeks, they don't need anyone that's going to disturb them or waste their time. So they come in, they're directional, they look at it like that. Nope, they're off. So you need to catch them on the right moment. So basically we did that, thinking that we would either grab the people that are really interested or get a few people in. But the whole idea was to sort of, it was a natural selection. Whoever was not interested in our concept would not like the way we did the first room. That's what we thought. So we did that. And we sat and waited. You know, it was like 8 hours the first day. I think we had maybe one person come in. Of course, you start doubting your concept, but we stuck to the plot, you know. So the second day comes, we did exactly the same thing. And then you get people who come in, they stand by the door, they look into it, they shake their head, they walk off. But eventually, we got this Japanese guy come in, very calm gentleman, well-dressed, at ease with himself, you know. And he comes in, he goes, so what are you guys up to? And then we started explaining to him what we did. We did raincoats. I'm a tailor. We decided to do raincoats, but we wanted to make it look a little more fashionable, so it didn't look like anything you knew from before, but it was 100% waterproof. It had the Japanese fabrics, blah, 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 pushing the pitch, you know. Now he was like, okay, so yeah, I get that. And you from Bergen? Where's Bergen? Well, Bergen is the gateway to the fjords, but for us, it's more of a place that we live, and it's not necessarily the fjords that defines Bergen, but Bergen it's a city that's full of creatives. It rains a lot, 2 or 3 days, and all that. So this guy was really warmed up to the whole idea of what we did. So he goes, okay, show me the collection. So we walk him into the second room, and I'm sure he was expecting a room full of collections, you know, but it was just that 5 pieces hanging out there. And then we took him through it, and we explained everything. And this guy left us after he placed an order. That was a very big order. I think it's the biggest order we had for the next 2-3 years. It's a shop called Tomorrowland in Tokyo. They have about 5 stores, and we still sell to those stores today. And it's based on the fact that we totally changed the perception of what raincoats and selling fashion should be. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because, you know, everyone has a baseline. Your baseline should be better than the next person because you have this unique thing in you, which is yourself. Now, if you try and do things as someone else, you're never going to get there because you always play catch-up, you know? And playing catch-up it's not a good thing. So we did that, tested that surrealist way of thinking, that conceptual approach, and it did work. Now, consequent years, we've tried different approaches, we've done different things, we've had artists with us on trade shows, and it does always work because it draws people in for a different reason than your clothing, but when you bond with them on that level, they would absolutely like what you do.